Okay, so welcome everyone to the satsang of Sri Anandamayi Ma, the third Sunday satsang. It's good to see new faces and familiar faces. And we meet with the idea of tuning in to Anandamayi Ma in the presence of her paduka, the shoes she wore on her feet, and learning more about her, learning how to tune into her, learning what she asks of us in our life and in our sadhana, learning what suggestions he has for our spiritual life, and just having fellowship together and community together also. So I'll share what's been through my mind this week in my meditations on Ma. As we see the world getting crazier and crazier, we see that this human condition we're in, and humans are just we're just a wreck, you know?
It's not just me.
Yeah, it's all of us. We're so cruel to each other, and we're so self-destructive. We destroy the planet, we destroy each other, we're throwing bombs at each other. So this week I've been feeling more and more gratitude that we're not left alone in this world because we're just crazy, disobedient children, the human race. And these great ones like Jesus Christ and the Buddha and Adi Shankaracharya and Anandamayi Ma, these great ones, they're literally visitors from another dimension. I don't mean they're UFOs or something. They are divine manifestations from these highest realms where everything is light and peace and bliss. And Ma came specifically at the call of mankind. She said it herself many times. And I've just been feeling so grateful that we're not left alone in this mess that we've made. Ma has come, as have so many other great ones, and these great ones are watching over us and trying to lead the world out of the chaos. And the reason it's still a mess is because we're not paying attention to them. So at least during this couple of hours we're going to have now, let's all pay attention to Ma and listen to what she says and then try to do it. Um, so that's kind of been on my mind this week, just gratitude that Ma has not left us alone in this swamp of humanity that we've made for ourselves. Um, and if we can tune into her, she's always there. She's immediately there for us. And we just have to hear her words, listen to them, take them to our heart, and learn to calm our minds so we can feel her presence, because her presence is always there. It's just a matter of learning to silence the mind, calm the mind and the breath, and tune into her. So we'll be trying that together during this next period, these next 2 hours. And I always have to give the disclaimer, we do record this and we do post it on our website on YouTube, our YouTube channel, Anandamayi Ma Satsang West. So if you participate, you will be recorded, but we hope that you'll still have full participation and share your feelings and your insights with us. It's just another reason we started the satsang, so we could all have a place of support together. We can help each other, strengthen each other, inspire each other, learn from each other's stories, learn from each other's experiences, because we each have our unique relationship to Ma. She's come and she's touched us all with her grace. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. We couldn't be here. We couldn't even know of her until she first thinks of us. So we have her grace and we're here together, and let's rejoice in that and love to be together and share like this. So because of that, let's have our normal introductions because we'd like to see every single person who's come. So we'll start here. For those who don't know, my name is Mangalananda, and I received Diksha from Anandamayi Ma in 1973 and been living in her ashrams and her lineage ever since, and was given the title Acharya, which just means I'm supposed to be a spreader of Ma's teachings whenever I can. So I do the best I can on that. And this is?
I'm Gloria. I'm Mangalananda's wife and a person who's loves Ma also.
Yes, also touched by Ma. Someone once introduced, we were doing some live stream in India, and they introduced us Mangalananda and Srimati Mangalananda. That means Mrs. Mangalananda.
Good.
Okay. And Renu couldn't come this month and Katya couldn't come, but we have our very own Saraswati, who is a member of our board of Sri Anandamayi Ashram and Temple. Saraswati, will you say hello?
Yes, thank you. I'm so happy to be here, and I want to thank you, Mangalananda ji and Gloria, for holding this space every month, and also Ramani's here, and all the people that hold us together. Thank you so much for continuing to allow us to have this opportunity. So thank you. And
Yeah.
yesterday was my 2-year anniversary of my mantra diksha. So
Ah,
birthday was yesterday in some ways. So Jai Ma. I'm here in Freedom, Maine, and we're going to go through our list here. And if I'll call your name, if you could just press unmute and tell us who you are and where you're from, we'd love to get to know you all.
yeah. And later in the session, we'll have an open sharing time. But now, since we have a lot of people, just say, you know, your name and where you're from. Hello. Okay.
Chaitanya.
Hello, my name is Chaitanya. I'm calling from Bellingham, Washington.
Very good. Welcome.
Jai Ma.
And you're the Chaitanya that's going to be taking the Hindi class with us and going to India?
Yes, I am.
Wonderful. I'm happy to see you. I don't think we've met before. Jai
I'll
Ma.
see you tomorrow, too.
Good, yeah. So we're going to Mashodanam, our ashram in India together to a retreat with Swami Guru Sharan, and we'll be having Hindi classes before that.
Mhm. Thank you.
Welcome, Chaitanya. Good to see you.
Wonderful. And then we'll go to the herrings.
There we go.
Yes, this is Linda and David, and we live in Williamsburg, Virginia, and that's like 50 miles southeast of Richmond, the capital of Virginia. Yeah.
Always
Jai
good to see
Ma.
you. And we're going to have an announcement later on that we will be back at Yogaville, God willing, and them willing. They've invited us. We're going to have our Matri Satsang yearly retreat there in Yogaville in Virginia. So we'll see you then, I hope.
I
Oh,
hope
wow.
you guys make at least for the concert or something. It's good to see you.
Yeah. Okay.
And we'll go to Greg. Jai Ma, Greg.
Jai Ma, everybody. My name is Greg, and I live in Rio Rancho, New Mexico.
Thank you, Greg.
Jai Ma, Greg.
Yeah, it's always good to see you. I'm very happy to see you.
And Lonnie. Jai Ma, Lonnie.
Jai Ma, this is Lonnie in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Good to see you, Lani. Jai Ma.
Matthew.
I am Matthew, and I'm in the Pacific Northwest on an island called Vashon near Seattle.
Beautiful.
Ah,
Did we exchange emails, Matthew?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, okay. You are the Matthew I went to. Very
Yes.
nice to see you. I'm glad you can make it. Wonderful.
And wonderful Ramani. So good to see you.
Jai Ma, everyone. Love to you all. I'm Ramani, and I'm coming from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan today.
And Ramani is the secretary of our board of Anandamayi Ma Ashram and Temple, and the driving power behind so many things in what we do. And she's leading the retreat. We'll talk about that later. Taking people to India, and there's still space if you feel inspired, and Ma has touched you to do that.
Jai Ma. Myron. Hello, Myron. Oh, if you could hit unmute.
It's the bottom left of your screen, Marvin. Just tap that where it says unmute. Can you get it? We want to say hello, Myron.
Yes.
There
I
you are.
am Myron, and I've known Gloria for over 35 years. We've been friends. And so, of course, I know Mangalananda also. And through him, I met Anandamayi Ma.
Oh,
oh,
it's wonderful to see you, Myron. Myron is a lifelong, very deep sadhak and a dear, dear friend.
I'm so honored that you're here.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Myron. And Gabrielle.
Hello, Gabriel in Seattle. So today we are three from Washington, Northwest.
Good to see you, Gabrielle. Very good to see you. Who just returned from France.
Yes.
Welcome.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
And Bill. Hello, Bill.
Hi, everybody. Bill here from Tucson, Arizona. Jema.
Good to see you, Bill. Jema.
Jema. Yanaba.
Jaima from Hilo, Hawaii.
Jema, Yana. See, I don't know if people are feeling it. I'm feeling this so strongly. This is a real community. We're so far apart, this crazy technology, but so many of you are here every time, and just seeing your faces, it just makes my heart sing. Really, we're here together. It's a really good thing. I'm very happy.
And someone I haven't seen in a while, I'm happy to see. Hello, Frank.
Oh, wow. Frank's here?
Are you there, Frank?
Hey guys, Jay Ma.
Wow.
It's been a while.
Yeah, as they say, long time no see. Good to see
Yeah,
you.
I work on Sundays, but I'm just gonna show up no matter what.
Good.
I'm here. Very happy to be here. I missed you guys very much.
Yeah, we're happy to see you, Frank. Really good.
I'm Frank from Hermiston, Oregon. 4 people from Pacific Northwest. Jay Ma, guys.
Jay Ma.
Awesome. And Steve. Jema, Steve.
Jma, everybody. I'm Steve in Canada, just outside of Toronto. Nice to see everybody and be here. Nice to see you too, Gloria. I missed you last month.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Steve. In the beautiful country of Canada, not the 52nd state or whatever.
And hello, Valerie from it says iPhone, but she's in the chat and she just said hi because it's 10 p.m. there in France and she's going to keep her camera off. So we'll all say Jai Ma.
Welcome, Valerie. Thank you for coming and for staying up late to be with us. Jai Ma.
And Bhavani.
Jai Ma, everyone. I'm calling in from California.
Yay.
Where in California, Bhavani?
I'm in Woodside.
Okay, we're in the Bay Area. Good
Yeah.
to see you, Jai Ma. Welcome.
Jai Ma.
And I see that Arpita and Robert, oh, there they are. They're trying to get to us. That's the first thing they'll do. Arpita, are you there? Can you say hi?
Arpita also received Diksha from Ma. When I was traveling with Ma, we were there together off and on. Well, Arpita, we know you're there, and we love you and welcome. And if you speak up later, we're happy to talk to you.
And that's it.
I'm sorry. I had to get up for a minute. I didn't hear a thing when you said, but hi anyway.
Okay. We're happy to see you, Arpita. Jai Ma.
Oh, Jai Ma.
Very good. Excuse me. So as always, we like to start with Ma's words of assurance of how she is with us. And I'm going to read some things also just about what different people said about Ma, different saints and interesting people said about Ma. Again, this is all just to strengthen our faith because we each have our own personal and very individual relationship with Ma. But it helps us when we hear people who had spiritual depth and insight, how their experience of Ma also. So it's to strengthen our faith, is to remind us how wonderful Ma is. So first of all, we always start with Ma in her own words saying, I am ever with each one of you wherever you happen to be. But your vision is tied down to worldly matters and you have little time to direct your eyes to this body in your thoughts and actions. What can I do? See, to interrupt her, it's her divine frustration. She is always there for us, always waiting for us to just turn our face towards her, and we so seldom do. So at least we can during this time and whenever we can through the day. So she says, what can I do? But know it for certain that whatever you do in thought and deed, whether you are near or in distant lands, never escapes my loving attention. Just as at a flash of torchlight, your faces gleam forth in their bold outlines, all your facial expressions appear in my mind when you meditate on me or talk about me or sit down to pray to me. So this is Ma's infinite consciousness resting as the self within each being who sees everything at all times. And even though her body is no longer with us on this earth, we know she still sees and hears us. We have so much proof of that. She continues, for this body, as we know, Ma frequently referred to herself as this body. For this body, the question of accepting or declining anyone does not arise. At all times and under all circumstances, in inspiration and in dryness, this body remains and ever will remain with everyone. I mean, you can't get any more definitive than that. It's like, listen, guys. Yeah, she says, you ask me if I love you. You may or may not be able to be without me, but I simply cannot do without any of you. So she's always with everyone. Let's do a few more. Now, this we talked about last time, how she said this. I am the visible embodiment. She used the word vyakta rupa, of the pure aspiration of all true spiritual aspirants. So those who are practicing discipline, who are longing for God, their prayers, our prayers, brought this being down. She says again, this body responds also to the fervent cries of those who have never even seen it. Let's read that again. This body responds also to the fervent cry of those who have never even seen it. So those who did not have the opportunity to meet Ma in person, I mean, it can't be taken away. That was an amazing experience, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. The link is there. She's leading us, and we'll come to her without any doubt. She says, even diseases approach this body in various shapes, and it rejects none. She said that very often. I think we're going to talk about it later in this particular session, that she would see diseases in humanoid forms, and they would come and ask to play in her body. It was her way of taking karma on of other people because she had no personal karma. And she would say, yes, come. She says, they come to play like all the rest of you. I reject no one. So if she doesn't reject smallpox and typhoid, she's not going to reject us. All who have come to this body have no fear of a fall. We had a whole discussion about that last time. Have faith in this body. Your unswerving faith will open your eyes. Nice. Now, a few things other people have said about Ma. This is one of our favorites, Sitaram Das Omkarnath, who was another divine being. He was a saint who was so amazing. He lived about the same period as Ma. To this day, he has 24 ashrams in India. I've met his successor. I didn't have a chance to meet him. He passed away the same year as Ma. He would visit Ma frequently, and he was a man of divine vision. He literally was one with God. He was an illumined saint. Here's what he said, talking to his disciples. Ma is not far from you. She ever resides in the innermost recesses of your heart. Ma is the eye of your eyes, the ear of your ears, the word of your words, and the life of your life. Ma envelops the entire universe and exists inside and outside every animate and inanimate object. In her nirguna state, that's the transcendent, she is your father. In her saguna state, that's with form, she is your mother. You're the darling of that mother. Then why are you crying? I love that one. Nice. Here's another one. Triveni Puraji, the eminent realized saint of Punjab. See, in India, we don't have this in our culture at all. In every generation in India, there are realized saints. I myself, living 12 years in India, made it a point to meet saints whenever I could. They are there. They're in the private places, they're in their caves, they're in the back rooms of their ashrams, but they're there. And so there's so much a part of the culture. They're referred to just like, normal people in our culture. And they said, oh, this one saint said this. So Triveni Purji, people recognize him as a realized saint of Punjab, widely known as Khana Baba, was once asked by a devotee whether Ma was an avatar. That's an incarnation of God. Triveni Purji laughed and said, avatar is a small thing. Ma is that. He used the word tat. Ma is that from where the avatars incarnate. He also said, as the rivers meet the ocean, but no variation of its level takes place. Similarly, all the religions and bhavas and paths are destined towards Anandamayi Ma. and under all circumstances, Ma always remains in the same state. As there is no limitation of the ocean, similarly, Ma cannot be bound within limits. It's wonderful. And I've got a new one. Okay, give it a little background of who this lady is. Sarojini Naidu was a legendary figure, poet, and social activist. Known as the, quote, Nightingale of India, Naidu was the first Indian woman to preside over the Indian National Congress, playing a pivotal role in the freedom struggle. So we're talking about the times of Gandhi, the 1940s. Her elegant poetry, which celebrated India's beauty, culture, and resilience, was matched only by her fierce commitment to women's rights, social justice, and equality. A symbol of strength, intellect, and grace, her words and actions continue to inspire the fight for justice and empowerment. So this lady met Ma. I mean, she may not have been a real-life saint, but she was a person of incredible aesthetic judgment and appreciation. Here's what she said about Ma. Sarojini Naidu, poet, leading Indian political figure, and champion of Mahatma Gandhi. Let's try it again. Champion of Mahatma Gandhi, met Anandamayi Ma in 1947. As reported by Bitika Mukherjee, she said, Anandamayi Ma is the quintessence of the spirit of India. She is the tuning fork, the touchstone, the ultimate criterion for distinguishing between what is our tradition and what is not. She is just perfect as she is. Only in India is it possible to experience perfection personified. So that's an aesthetic appreciation of Ma also. One more. I love doing this, just people saying nice things about Ma, people who had real vision. The great yogi Balananda Brahmachari once told Akhandananda Swami, quote, the company of Ma you have kept. Now, Akhandananda Swami was Guru Priya Didi's father, who was a great man, and he and Didi came to Ma at the same time and stayed the rest of their lives with Ma. And he was a patriarch of a large, family, and a physician. And he was retired. He was quite old, and he became Ma's first Swami, first sannyasi. Ma encouraged him to take sannyasa. He spent the rest of his life with Ma. So here's what the great yogi Balananda Brahmachari once told Akhandananda Swami, quote, the company of Ma you have kept, never leave it. Ma is not a sadhika, that's a spiritual aspirant. She is nitya siddha, eternally perfect. She is born for some great work and will leave as soon as that work is completed. She doesn't have to do any kind of sadhana bhajan. That's the spiritual discipline. Okay, so we have Ma's assurance that she is with us. We have the assurance of great realized beings and people of incredible perception seeing Ma and telling us she's the real deal. So that's to strengthen our faith in Ma. So we're going to relate to Ma intellectually, so to speak, by studying her words and things. But let's let our hearts open to her now, and let's sing the kirtan we always start with. We wrote this as kind of the theme song of our ashram in India, which is called Ma Sharanam Ashram, which we'll be talking about later in this particular satsang. And Sharanam means a place of refuge, place of peace, strength, support, like the mother, your divine mother, the mother hen taking the chicks under her wings. So we say, Om Ma Sharanam. Oh, I gotta fix the sound. So this is what you gotta remind me of the sound. Okay, now it's on. Shri Shri Anandamayi Mata Ki Jai. Om Ma Sharanam. 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 Om Sharanam, 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 Om Sharanam. Anandamayi ma, 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 Anandamayi ma. Anandamayi ma, 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 Anandamayi ma. Anandamayi ma, Anandamayi ma, Anandamayi ma, Anandamayi ma. Om Sharanam, 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 Together one last time. Om Sharanam, Om Sharanam, Om So let's sit still for a few moments and just feel Ma's presence with us. Feel her consciousness touching ours. So I always like to start with kind of readings, later read Ma's words, but things from her life, things that happened, kind of just brings things home. This is a very interesting reading. Let's do this first. We were just talking about how Ma would see diseases in humanoid form, and they would come and play in her body, and she would, like I say, she had no personal karma. She said this body was not brought down like yours by karma that needs to be exhausted. So she was free from karma, but then she was almost always ill. She was very frequently ill, and she said it's because this body doesn't reject anything. She takes on the karma of people who come to her. Things that we wouldn't be able to bear, things that would drive us down, she takes on herself. So here's an explanation, some of it in her own words. It's from Anandamayi. It says, "It is a well-known fact among those who are close to Mataji that her illnesses baffle and bewilder medical experts as much as laymen, because she wouldn't take medicine and wouldn't respond. It would just go away after a while. She would usually just go into a yogasana and then it would disappear after a certain time. A doctor may diagnose a certain disease only to discover that it has simply vanished the next day, or else given place to quite a different type of illness, only to change into a third one the day after, or he may possibly find her perfectly well again. It is very similar as regards her pulse. It may be very quick at one time, and 10 minutes later quite slow and weak, and so forth. When taking her temperature, the thermometer may show high fever, and perhaps half an hour later, subnormal temperature. Doctors mostly do not dare to diagnose her condition anymore, and since medicine of any kind, be it allopathic, homeopathic, or Ayurvedic, far from having a curative effect, only aggravates the trouble. So when people would press her to take medicine, she would sometimes do it out of their, and she would get worse. So they probably stopped asking her to do that. All the doctors can do is to give suggestions and recommend rest and to allay the anxiety of her attendants by reassuring words. Often they humbly request Mataji to explain herself the nature of her illness, which she does with a most radiant smile and complete detachment as a perfectly dispassionate spectator. It reminds me of another story. In the early days when Bholenath, her husband, was alive, and they were traveling together, and Ma would get just terribly ill, and to her everything was bliss. So she'd be talking, she'd be like fever and terrible, but she'd be talking, her face would be radiant, and she'd be talking, and Bholenath would say, "You know, you're never going to get over this because you don't act like you're ill. It doesn't bother you." And so Ma says, "Okay, is this better?" And she would go, and act like she was real sick. She had a great sense of humor. They would play together. She repeats invariably that she is well and in Ananda bliss, and that she does not experience any discomfort, although the ailment seems obvious to us. When asked why she gets ill at all, since there's no karma for her to work out, as in the case of ordinary human beings, she has often been heard to say, this is quote, her words, "Diseases are beings with definite shapes like every one of you." She would see their astral form. "I do not send you away when you come to me, but welcome everyone and everything as forms of the divine. Why should I make an exception with those of his guises, which are called illnesses? It is all his play. He is in all forms, be they pleasing or painful. I can assure you that I feel no discomfort. All conditions are equal to me. I am always well." You see, she was not identified with her body. She was eternal, immortal consciousness. She sometimes adds, quote, "I am the nerves, the arteries, and the veins. I am the breath, as well as this movement. I am also the observer who stands apart and watches the process of living and breathing, if the word I is to be used at all." Unquote. One day, while her illness was acute, Mataji told us that in the night, certain Mahatmas, that's holy men, great souls, had come to see her in their subtle bodies. They sat before her for a while and then walked around her in a solemn circumambulation. They did parikrama around her. She did not tell why they had come, but we feel that it may have been to join in the fervent prayers of Ma's devotees all over the world for Mataji's speedy recovery. There were times when I had come back from India, I was living in one of her ashrams in America, where we got news that Ma was very ill, and we would join with people. They would ask people, please do japa and offer the fruits that Ma will keep her body and be in good health again. It wasn't for her, it was for us that we could experience her presence longer. But I took part in several of those beautiful prayer sessions and japa sessions where we'd offer the fruits for Ma's health, that she would keep her body and be with us as long as possible. Darn, there's another story that just came up in my mind and I can't remember it. Sorry, senior moment. A beautiful story just came up and went fleeting through my brain. Continued. Mataji was resting in her room one early afternoon when her attendant heard her say, "Water, water." Thinking that Ma was perhaps feeling thirsty, the girl brought a glass of water, at which Ma shook her head, saying, "No, no, there was water all around." The girl could not understand what Ma was referring to. The explanation was later forthcoming. That day, a lady had come from New Delhi with her 2 small children, who went to play near the water tank and fell into it. They came back to their mother, drenched to the skin and dripping with water. Shocked at their sight, she inquired what had happened. They related that they had both fallen into the open tank in the course of their play. They found that a beautiful lady was swimming in the water with them, which was, quote, "the same lady who gave us the garlands in the morning," they said, unquote, namely Ma. The lady caught hold of them and dragged them out of the tank, thus saving them from drowning. At the same time, Ma was lying on her couch exclaiming, "Water, water." Another story told by Bhaiji. Bhaiji, we've talked about him before, Jyotish Chandra Roy, one of the early disciples who we look upon, in our lineage, we look upon as the perfect devotee and the first biographer of Ma. We just call him Bhaiji, older brother. One time Bhaiji was not traveling with Ma, he was in Varanasi, and Ma was somewhere like in Uttarakhand, way up in the Himalayas, 1,000 kilometers away. And Didi, Guru Priya Didi, who was Ma's main attendant, was with Ma in her room, and suddenly, and Ma was just sitting there, suddenly, whoosh, her clothes were soaking with water. Where she was sitting, there was a puddle of water underneath her. And Didi, who was used to supernatural occurrences, just took note of the time and said, "Ma, may I change your clothes?" And she put dry clothes on her and helped her and just kept note of the time. And later, Bhaiji wrote or telegraphed, there was no internet in those days, telegraphed that he at the same time was going to take a snan, that's a holy dip, in the Ganga, in the river Ganges at Varanasi. And those of us who've been there know the water can be very swift current at times of year. So he got down into the ghat, he stepped down, he slipped, let go of the chain, and was washed away by the river. And he was just like rolling in the river, just thinking. And he said suddenly this hand came out of nowhere, with a white cloth, of course, and just pulled him out onto the bank. And he sat there, he looked around, "Where is she? Where is she? I know it's Ma," And he texted this, or not texted, he telegraphed this to where Ma was. And Didi looked at that, it was exact time that Ma's clothes were soaking. So I know you don't like the miraculous Ma thing. We tell these stories just to, these are actual events. We're not telling stories. We count these things, not because like, oh, Ma was so supernatural, which she was, but just to show that she is existing in all places at once. She's capable of saving us in need, time of need, both physical as well as spiritual. So again, we're just strengthening our faith by remembering these things about Ma, that she did these things. These are not, these great ones like Krishna and Rama, they lived thousands of years ago, Jesus Christ, 2,000 years ago, and we believe in their reality, but over all these years we can say, oh, there's so many legends have arisen since that time. These stories probably weren't true. We lived with Ma. These stories were witnessed by people that we know. So it's this not centuries of myths and fables between our time and Ma's time. These are things that we saw and that people saw that we know, that firsthand. Here's another.
I just want to clarify.
Yeah, please.
The miraculous Ma doesn't mean a lot. I just want to know she loves me.
Yeah.
Like rock solid love me. That's what I want.
Yeah, that's the important thing. Yeah, I understand. I'm trying to find another one when I marked out. I think I've now lost the place. Be patient with me 1 second. This is an interesting thing. I want to just find. I thought I had it marked, but I apparently don't. It's about Jagannath Puri. Darn, sorry, I thought I marked it with a paperclip and I didn't.
Do you want me to read when you're finding it?
Yeah. No, because there's a way. Sorry, this is a homegrown satsang. We're just doing it. We're all hanging out together. So let me try to see if I find this. Because it's a really nice reading about Jagannath Puri. Thank you for your patience. Well, we'll just have to do it next time. There's a very interesting link between Ma and Lord Jagannath, who is the very interesting manifestation of Krishna in Jagannath Puri. I've been kicked out of that temple twice because they're very strict about not letting foreigners in. And I tried to sneak in with a bunch of Indians on all sides, and the guards grabbed me and pulled me aside. I started speaking to them in Hindi, which really confused them. But they said, you have to be born in India to enter this temple. And one time I tried to enter with two very famous swamis, the head of Ananda ashram, Swami Muktanandi, and the head of this Kriya Yoga ashram. They invited me to come, and I said, they won't let me in. They said, oh, you're with us, you come. So the three of us walked in, got past a couple of gates, and then the Brahmin Pandits came out and started beating these swamis for taking this foreigner in. And so they still, Swami Muktananda at Ananda ashram still tells the story of trying to go to Jagannath Puri with Mangalananda. Okay, so I'm sorry we don't have that reading, but let's do the video now. Okay, we're gonna have another reading from Pragya's book, but these last 2 months we've been watching this really nice video of Ma just walking around, and it's just beautiful to see her walk and move. So let's share the screen, and we'll watch the very last part of it. Just lasts about 5 minutes or so, just so we can see Ma moving around. So beautiful. I'm hoping that it's still up here on my screen somewhere. Yes, there it is. Okay. So I just want you to tell me if the sound is coming through, because it's beautiful singing. Now this is just where it's kind of bad. This is the days of 8mm rolls of film, so some of the film is not very clear. But there's a soundtrack of devotees of Ma singing, and some of it is Ma singing. This is Ma herself singing. She's singing Nam Korija, Nam Korija. That means have victory through the divine name. That she stressed so much, saying the divine names. So let's just have darshan of Ma. That's Didi there. That's Ma herself singing. That was Hari Baba, a great Vaishnava saint who used to Durma and come frequently to Now let's see if I can get back to where we were. I'll get to stop sharing, okay. See, isn't it wonderful? It's wonderful just to see Ma walking around. We used to just, sometimes we'd be down below and she'd be walking back and forth on a flat roof, you know, which India has these flat roofs you walk on. Or there'd be times we would just walk around the ashram with her and just, her movements were just so fluid and so joyful. You see the beautiful look on her face as she was smiling. Okay, so unfortunately our dear Pragya Hallstrom could not be with us today, so we're going to read from her book. I know many of you know, how many of you have this, the 2 volumes of the Gospel of Sri Anandamayi Ma. I want to hold it up. This is volume 2, right? Yeah, because we have one at the office. Pragya spent, I think, 7 years compiling this, and from tapes that we have of Ma satsangs that stretch from like 1960 to 1982, and they're just spontaneous evening satsang of Ma just speaking freely, answering questions and things. And so it's a priceless 2-volume set of satsangs we actually haven't even heard before this book came out. So let's read some of her writings.
This is page 259, volume 2.
Be sure and speak up really loud.
When is it that God is kind to someone? When does one receive his kripa?
This is a question, right?
What is ahetuk kripa? God's grace without cause. Who is blessed with it? How can one know that he is being blessed with that kripa? Sri Ma. His grace is raining all the time and everywhere. It is pouring like rain. As you have kept your vessel upside down, you are unable to collect it. His grace runs off over that vessel. Keep it upright, and it will fill up with his grace. Did you follow this, body, Baba? Questioner. Is worthiness a condition for ahatuk kripa, that is, God's grace without a cause? Sri Ma. So, this is what God did. He has framed all these beautiful laws. Follow that universal law. Keep your mind turned toward him. and the reigning grace will fill your vessel too, as it is filling those of so many other people. Even before that, you must remove the avarana, the veil of ignorance in you. As long as you do not do that, you will not even know if your vessel is up or down. You will, right or wrong, only when you are aware of it. The awareness comes only when your avarana is removed. This avarana is never removed by him. If you think that he will perform a hetuk kripa, God's grace without cause, and will remove your avarana, you are wrong. To remove your avarana is your responsibility, and for that, only you must make an effort. When the rains come, only those people who keep their fields ready to receive them are benefited. Those who are sleeping and have not taken care to plow and prepare the field for the rain will repent. So, it is your duty to prepare your spiritual field to receive the rains of Ahetuk Kripa, God's grace without a cause, in time. Had it not been your responsibility, what was the use of coming here and doing all this sadhana? What was the necessity of doing this kriya, action? To think he will give his kripa, grace, and everything will be all right is totally wrong. Do you rely on his kripa for eating and drinking? Don't you perform all of this business and the other things of the world? Don't you create these big factories and mills? Don't you use your hand and mind for these worldly things? Then why don't you use your mind in the realm of spirituality? He is very kind. There is no doubt about it. He has given you these hands and this mind only because he is kind. It is only his grace. So use them for his work. Ma is speaking passionately here. Then automatically your mind will be ready to receive the rains of his beautiful, ever-reigning grace. In how many knots have you bound your mind? How many avaranas, veils of ignorance, do you have covering it? Cut those ties. Remove all those avaranas. At least this much you must do. Then your vessel, which is not in an upright position, will become right. But this will be done by the person's own power, not by the grace of God. Yes, no doubt, his Shakti, that is divine power, will help you in this endeavor, because in addition to a person's own power, God's power is also required for everything in this world. Without his help, no one will succeed in his efforts. You are asking all these questions. Here too, it is he who is enabling you to ask these questions. Without his help, no one will succeed in his efforts. You are asking all these questions. Here too, it is he who is enabling you to ask these questions. To whom are you asking these questions? To yourself and nobody else. Who is asking these questions? He alone, through you, so that you may realize yourself. Bhagavan himself is performing this entire Leela. He will not be manifested until you succeed. Suppose you see a beautiful flower. Someone else asks you about it. What will you do then? You will just narrate its beauty in so many words, but that entire narration will not make him see that actual flower. Similarly, from the book of scholars and devotees, you will only hear what is true, but to attain him, in actuality, you must make efforts on your own. That invisible light is there in this visible world, but it cannot be made visible to you if you do not do sadhana. It cannot be shown. It has to be seen by oneself. No one can make that invisible visible. So you alone can right your vessel. You will have to make efforts to do that, but certainly that will be righted only through his ahut kripa, God's grace without a cause. What is the meaning of ahetuk kripa? He does not have any motive behind all of this grace. He is showering. He makes the sun shine. Has he any motive behind it? He brings the rain. Has he any selfishness? No. It is all his nature to help his children. Turn your vessel toward him. What is the reason behind your desire to achieve him? The reason is that you undergo all kinds of suffering and misery in the world, and you want to get rid of it. You pray to him to remove all these miseries. Why do you pray to him? You know that he performs a hetu kripa, and he will fulfill your desires. You have the responsibility to pray, but he does not have the responsibility to bless you. This responsibility will remain with you as long as you are in Dvanda, duality, and darkness. Once you start Bhagavat Kriya, that is, actions performed for God, there will be no more obstacles. Isn't that right? Do you understand? In the kingdom of Jiva and Jagat, that is, the bound soul individual and the perpetually moving world, there are always three things: the attainer, the attainment, and the attained. This is Triputi, the bundle of three. It needs to be destroyed. Only then will he be manifest. He is there to help you, and only he will right your vessel. But as you are the speaker, the doer, and the listener, you too have some responsibility. Ha ha ha, she laughs. You must take initiative. He is Shuddha, Buddha, and Mukta, pure, awakened, and free. He is already there within you. Just remove the avarana, the veil of ignorance, and you will have his darshan. Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, and Shasvata, the pure, awakened, free, and eternal one. Ma laughs. If you are unable to even understand what is meant by bhakti, or devotion, or to know where it is, what state have you achieved? Therefore, you should have fully solved all questions such as what is bhakti, what is prema, divine love, and what is atmasthiti, the state of the self, and what is atmarama, the state in the form of the divine. The same person is at once a husband, a son, and a father, but kriya, or action, is performed with reference to one specific position at one time. All three are not prominent at all times. When one becomes prominent, the other positions become secondary. Do you understand?
Wow. This is
It's a lot.
super crucial reading, actually. Well, what's your take on it? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Oh. I don't think I think she says it all. I don't know.
What she said. I see this reading as really, really crucial because throughout this book and through Ma's talk, she talks about avrana. It means it's a curtain. You know, the rishis of India saw what Western philosophers never saw, that the soul is always perfect inside of us, that we are eternal as God is. We weren't created, we were just projected from God, and that we are eternally perfect and blissful. And the reason we're suffering so much and we're not experiencing that is because this avarana, this curtain, is blocking us from the completeness of our inner being. And Ma speaks about this a lot, and she talks about how to get rid of it. So to me, this is really interesting. She says, "You made it. You got to get rid of it." It's pretty severe words. And she says the grace of God. She says, just notice the end. She said the grace of God will do it. At the beginning, she says the grace of God won't do it, and they're not contradictory. She says you have a part to play. Your own will has to break through that curtain. And then she also stresses, but it's done with the power of God. And she says we can't do anything without God's power. So there are all these supposedly contradictions in spiritual life where two things are absolutely true at once. What's that called? Anyway, two things are true at one time.
Dialectics?
What?
Dialectics or
There's a simple word for it. It's escaping me.
Paradox.
Paradox. Thank you. Thank you, Chaitanya. There are many divine paradoxes in spiritual life that are absolutely true at the same time. It's all the grace of God. We can't move without the grace of God. We can't realize God without the grace of God. We have to accept it. Same time, it is on one level all in our hands. Like Amai saying here, you have a part you have to play. And she says it so clearly. You made this avarana. Don't expect God to just suddenly break through for it. That's your job. And she says you use your own mind. Remember, she says you use your own mind and hands in building factories and making jobs and entertaining yourself and doing all this. Why can't you use your same power and hands to break through this avarana? Really interesting. If we just study what is avarana, it's you can trace it all back to dharma. Dharma is the blueprint of righteousness that God has rested this universe on. That there's certain truths that are always there. There's a certain path that goes to God. And we each have many different ways, branches within that, but it all leads to the unity of life. The things that lead to the unity of life are dharmic. Loving other people, helping other people, being selfless, being kind. This is all dharmic because it's based on the fact that we are all one. Adharmic things, that is, unrighteous actions, are based on a misconception that we're separate. Selfishness, greed, anger, lust. I want something for myself. I'm going to hit this person here. I'm going to be miserly and take all these things for myself. This is all based on the misconception that we're all separate, which is adharmic. So the avarana has been made within our own consciousness through lifetimes. We don't know how many lifetimes of adharmic action, of adharmic thoughts. I was thinking, I'm separate. I need this. I need that. I'm going to hurt this person. I'm going to do that. When we do these unrighteous actions, first of all, we have a karmic reaction we'll have to accept later. But then the more important thing is there's a darkening of the mind. And that makes this avarana even more dense so that our divine light can't shine through it. And when we do our sadhana, when we say our mantra, when we remember Ma, when we do righteous actions, when we do actions based on the concept that we are all one, such as, I will help this poor person in need. I will be kind to someone who's cruel to me because we're one. And if we live this dharmic way, every time we do these things, it makes that avarana more translucent, more transparent. So slowly, slowly, the light begins to shine through it. So spiritual life, again, with Ma outlines it so clearly. We have a part to play, but we do rely on grace. We absolutely cannot do it without God's grace, but there's a part we have to play. And I always emphasize this in every talk I give because there's a so-called neo-Vedantic movement where they say, we've been cursed by knowing some people who got trapped into it. They say, you are God already. You have nothing to do. You're just proclaim yourself one. That's mistaking a universal truth for a relative truth. The relative truth is we are bound, we're suffering, we're miserable, and we're in a terrible state. Not to be too negative about it, but honestly facing what's going on. And the good news is that the perfection is there within us. We don't have to make it. We don't have to try to be good. We have to uncover the goodness in us. It's the glorious genius of all the religions that came from India were based on this. It was already there. We're not creating something new. So Ma's is saying, you made this avarana, remove it. And she tells us how to remove it through the different things we do, through the spiritual practices we do. She always emphasizes 6 things. Satsang first. She always said, keep satsang. In this Kali Yuga, this age of darkness we're in, is so important to link together and inspire each other. Keep satsang, do japa, dhyan, puja, kirtan, pat. Keep satsang, that's company with truth. Repetition of God's name, japa. Dhyana, concentrating the mind in meditation, learning to concentrate. Pat, recitation of spiritual texts like Hanuman Chalisa, Gita, things like that. That includes spiritual reading. And what was the last one? Puja. Having some kind of worship, having some kind of relationship with the divine. Making small offerings, offering incense, having a active relationship that causes links with different aspects of the divine. So anyway, I think this is an amazing reading. Yeah. Anything else with?
A couple of thoughts on.
Yeah.
She talked a lot about devotion and bhakti, and it is our love for Ma or the divine that incites us to lose that avarana. And they tell us how, and she tells us how to love her by going into our consciousness, and the tool for that is the name, repeating the name. It gives us some detachment from this world. Second thing I want to say is when we make a mistake, it is our love that makes us feel terrible and sets us that will that we won't do it again. At least that's my experience.
That's really true.
Yeah.
You always say it's all about love. And it really is true. It's all about love. Love is what, actually, as Gloria just said, love is what motivates us. Love is what draws us on. And what is love? Love is the experience that we're all one, unity. Love is dharma. So I think it says in the Christian Bible, God is love. Okay, we have time. Let's open up the floor. First of all, anyone have any thoughts about this reading? And first, let's talk about that. And then I'm always happy to hear anything, but let's keep it on the subject of Anandamayi Ma and her teachings and what she means to us. I love to hear just how people came to Ma and how Ma touched them. But first, let's talk about this. Any insights from people hearing this reading? Or what is your thought on this readings about Avarana and grace and Kripa? Just unmute and speak up and let's talk.
Hello, this is Chaitanya.
Yeah.
In my experience, Ma talks a lot about, every religion will get you there, but she's real adamant that she wants you to pick one and stay with it. And I find with my own path that the more I stick with it, within that path is a lot of disciplines that as I practice those, it's a progressive purification of my mind, of my behavior, and it just kind of builds on itself. So I think within any particular path, if we look close enough, we'll find those mechanisms to help us.
Thank you, Chaitanya. That's a very insightful observation. Let me talk some more about that too. It's interesting. We have what we call here in California the California butterfly. It doesn't mean a monarch. It means one of these drifty people who, for a week they're a Buddhist, and then for a week they're this, and they go around and just, fly from flower to flower. And like it's true, Ma did not agree with that. She would say, pick a path, stick to it. You'll find the essence of all the paths, like Chaitanya just said, they have these particular disciplines. And there'll be ways to get to God. And it was just the reason we pick a particular path is that just sinks in with our nature most. It's a path that we feel is most relevant to us. But when you get down to the basics of it, they're all I won't say they're all the same, they're very similar. And they all have similar disciplines and tools for working with it. But I want to add another thing is, I agree, but I think we can expand on that a little bit. It is true you should have your basic path which you keep to, but it can be, I think these days it can be somewhat eclectic. And that is we can find different things in different traditions that work for us, and we can add to our daily path and make it our own. And also what Gloria and I do is we long for satsang in this barren world of materiality, especially this Western culture, which is just based on ego and materialism. We long for satsang. So we have our path, which is our daily practice, our daily, like I talk to myself, speak to myself. I have a path I was initiated into. I have a path which I do every morning. I have a world outlook, which is basically Hindu based or Dharmic based. But within that, so we don't flip from thing to thing. That's our home base. But then we're able to keep satsang wherever we find God and we find people devoted to God, that's where we go. Like Gloria is very active in the Sikh community. She was just at the Sikh Gurdwara before coming here. I was at Sonoma Ashram offering kirtan. But we go to Sufi zikrs because we love the people and we love praying with the people in Arabic. We go regularly to the Russian Orthodox Church because we just love the way they pray and they're able to invoke God, even though I don't like in some of their dogma. They have ability to invoke God. So it is okay to once you're established. At first, when you're first getting into your path, you should just have your like blinders on. Just look at that and practice that, read that, get established in that. But when you feel stronger in your own path, you can have your daily practice, but then you can go to these different places and kind of take the nectar, what's best from it if you find something that's good, and keep company with people who are devoted to that path. So I would say yes and no to that. First of all, yes, have your own path, stick to it, be established in it. But then you can take some eclectic things from other paths and benefit from it too. Does that make sense, Chaitanya? Yeah, okay. Yeah, anybody else? Did you have something, Arpita? Oh, wait. Oh, sorry, up there, Steve.
Yes. Oh, no worries. Yeah, no, I just wanted to share. It was very interesting in the reading to hear from Ma, like, you got to do the work. And she was very definite about that. So, and that's interesting dealing with the veil of ignorance. There was a conference that was happening this weekend with lots of different talkers and just sharing their different insights. But again, once you see you keep hearing from different people, but like it's a different way of saying the same message. But yeah, like just a continual polishing, like to return back to the practice and just you keep polishing yourself to get, clearer and clearer. And then eventually you'll have through, grace, that kind of breakthrough. At least that's what I'm banking on right now. But it's just interesting to hear that from her. And yeah, I really love the Gospels. Great books. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Steve. Yeah, it is true. We keep polishing the potty or we get rusty again. And what Ma also emphasizes here, there were several points she emphasized. You got to do the work, but it is by God's power and it does take grace, but it's our part. But also she stressed what another genius of the Indian path is. It's all about experience. If it's not experiential, it doesn't mean anything. Ma said the scriptures that we read are just like railway timetables. They tell you when to go on the train, where to go, but you got to go there. You can't look at the timetable and experience being in Boston or San Francisco or Delhi. You got to get on the train and go there. So she also stressed, and what you're saying too, you got to experience it. It has to be our own experience. And what's great about yoga and about Sanatana Dharma and about the ways of these saints, they give us the methods. And that's why we do it. We do these methods every day because we're going to get the experience of God directly, of our own soul directly. So it won't be just, the Western. I read a book about an Irish priest, which was very funny. But at one point, someone came to him and said, Father, why does the church believe this and believe that and believe this? And he said, my son, the church doesn't like this nasty word, why. It likes the word credo, I believe. So in other words, shut up and pay the money and go away. So the Eastern approach does not say that. It says, here's the tools, find out for yourself. And Ma was saying that, like, do it and find out, experience it, or it doesn't mean anything. And that's what's so wonderful. We will experience it. See, at the end of the reading, Ma said, do these things, you will have the darshan of God. She assures us you will. It's so thrilling to think about. It is in our destiny. Ma is calling us. We haven't come to this path by our own will. Jesus said, you didn't choose me, I chose you. We didn't choose Ma on a certain level. She chose us. And so it is in our destiny. She will not stop until we've realized God. So we just keep plodding along. And Steve, you're right. You're banking on that. It's a good bank. There's money in that bank. Well, anybody else? Again, the readings are nice. If anyone has any more beautiful thoughts about that, but if anything, I like to hear. Yeah.
Arpita is ready, I think, right?
Oh
But
yeah.
if you're, yeah, I just wanted to just agree with you, Mangalananda, that it is important to have a basic one-pointed practice, but in this day and age, and especially because we're Westerners, we have an exposure to so much. It's like a supermarket of a plethora of, I don't like to use the word products, but that's what comes to my mind. And it's important to not flit around, especially in the beginning, but like it's also okay to blend once you're established, to a certain extent established in your practice. So I know with myself, having been to India twice and with Ma, I still consider myself Buddhist. And I have a practice that is Theravadan from Southeast Asia. So I don't find, except for some there is a little bit of cognitive dissonance, I do have to say. But I feel as though that if your intention is pure, that if it originates from and is informed by an intention of dedication and devotion and purity, that you will reach your goal, if you will, because that's what is really the driving force. Is the intention, your intention. If your intention is to just sort of experiment and sort of get high or whatever, people are doing, then that's what'll be. That's what'll happen. But I agree with you that it's okay once you're established and you actually ask yourself, what is my intention? Ask yourself, what is my intention? What is my motivation? And to be honest with yourself about that. And once you are clear with that, then you can go forth with various things like you all do there, and blend. Does that make sense?
Those are super good points, Arpita. Thank you. Really good points. The issue is our intention. Yeah. And a couple of points that makes me think of it also. We can be eclectic because we've had so many lifetimes, I think now, the point we're all at to come to Ma, we've had so many lifetimes in many different paths and religions. And I feel that other people I've talked to also feel this, that in this particular age, we can now start pulling some of those strings together into one bundle. That we can, even though we should have one focus, we can use different paths because we've been on before in previous lives. And now we can kind of join them all together into this, one beautiful, powerful way of doing it. That's true. And the second thing is, just as you said, Arpita, um, even though we can be led in different ways, we're never away from Ma. Like you, after you met Ma, you went more into Buddhism. That is no way take you separate from Ma. If somebody, I know people who went straight from Ma into even deeper Christianity, they're still totally with Ma. Ma's embrace is so vast and so universal that everything falls under her scope. So we have such freedom within that. That's one thing I love about Ma, her universality and the freedom within her path. She's strict in her disciplines, but there's such a wide range of possibilities of how we can find our own swadharma, our own way of going in our own particular way. And she said, unless a person finds their own way of expressing their path, their own unique way, even if two people are doing the same so-called sadhana, they'll find their own way to do it. And she says if people don't have the freedom to do that, they will start to stagnate. So, yeah.
Well, and also we're living in a time where traveling and everything is so connected to different parts of the world are so connected. And don't forget, so many, like years and years ago, people were not so connected. They didn't have planes. They weren't able to travel very far. So we're subjected or exposed so many different aspects of practice, of spirituality. And so that's an opportunity, but it can also be a danger.
Yeah.
But I think if you're like I say, if your intention is pure, even if you get waylaid and you get spread out and too spaced out with so much, you'll eventually it'll work out because of your intention.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point you've made too, that intention is everything. I used to think, oh, you've got to have the most jet plane yogic way to do this, and if this particular kriya is more powerful, and if I do it like this, I've come to the conclusion after becoming old and tired that it really is the intention. It's how you do your practice. It's not, I mean, the person, I think I've said it before, the person, just a fundamentalist Christian saying, oh, Jesus, save me, from his heart is going to make better progress than someone who does all these complicated yogas with egotism. It is to purify our intentions. Arpita, you and I both had the misfortune of knowing a particular Swami who I really think his intention was always just to get his spiritual practice was just to get more power and to make himself feel like he was more powerful and all this. And I've seen that in some different in my life living in different ashrams. There are people who have had the intention of just I'm going to do this, become more powerful. And like Krishna says, anyone who approaches me in any way they approach me, I'll strengthen them in that faith. So maybe they'll make some progress. But I think a pure intention is we're doing this to find God. We're doing this to find ourselves. We're doing this to step back into the unity of life, to be dharmic, to be true, to be real humans, real human beings, which was a high bar. Ma had a very high definition of what it meant to be human, and really to become our fullest possible potential. So yeah, I think it's great purifying our intentions, really looking at it carefully and saying, "Why am I doing this?" Yeah. Lonnie, did you have your hand up?
Yes, thank you. First of all, Gloria, are you feeling better since last month?
Yeah, I'm back to normal. Thank you.
Very good. I think it was last month, Mangalananda, you mentioned that you do a puja every morning. Um, would you be able to share anything with that as far as like how you do it? It's like me, I'm very fascinated by puja, but I don't know how to do it. I've watched a few videos on YouTube or whatever, but I'm still a little bit intimidated by it because I don't. I know, yes, there is like if you have the intention behind it, if you do it from the heart for with devotion, then you can't do it wrong. But at the same time, it's like I don't want to do it wrong. So if you could just please share anything you can.
Yeah, that's a very good question, Lonnie. Because I've talked about before how Ma said puja is an important part, and Bhakti yoga is definitely, it starts in duality and ends in unity. So at start, we are saying, I'm here, my soul, here is God in front of me, and it's relating to God. You find the more you go, it's less and less external. The more you relate to God, you realize the more He's totally in you. But this kind of prideful haughtiness that a lot of spiritual people have, where, oh, God's not outside, He's inside. I don't believe in that. I think that's stepping in a little bit before the time. You by devotion to God, you do come closer to God and you realize He's one, but there is an external God as well as an internal God. There really is. So to answer your question, I've done different pujas over the years. The one I had now came about very spontaneously. Let me try to keep this brief because it's a really wide question. I mean, I could talk for a couple hours. Um, the need for puja is to release or to express this longing that is in every soul. Every soul deep down wants to worship God. That sounds like a big assumption, but even the most, you could say, sinful person or rough person, there's a desire inside to express this. And it'll come out in different ways. They'll adore a rock star or a sports figure. That we want to have people we look up to. This is an expression of the soul wanting to worship God. And when we do worship God, Ma said one time, I only came to the people that I already had a link with. She has a link with all of us already. We do form links in this world. But she said in Bhakti Yoga, we approach God through a relationship. Because if we look in the world, we relate to everybody through a particular relationship, whether it's an intimate one, husband, wife, beloved, son, daughter, child, or even if we go into a store, we're a customer, person waiting on us. Yeah, checkout person. We relate to this world through relationships. So Ma said, form a relationship with God, either father, mother, friend, beloved. In the Bhakti path, they say there's 5 different bhavas you can have. Approach God as a friend, approach God as a beloved, approach God as your mother, approach God as your child, where God is your child. There's different ways of expressing devotion. But when God becomes less of an abstraction, Bhakti Yoga is making God real, not just an abstraction. There's a there was an old blues song when I was growing up where the man said, "There's a God and the devil. There certainly must be, but I just don't bother them. They don't bother me." So that's kind of the general outlook of worldly people. Like, oh yeah, there's a God somewhere. I don't, yeah, I believe in God. So there's somewhere. Bhakti Yoga is, I want to experience God. I want to have a relationship with God. I want God to become real. So this is done through first forming some kind of link, a relationship, looking on God as mother, father. Okay, I look on God as Anandamayi Ma. So by making simple offerings to God, we actually do form like a karmic link. Something happens. I can tell you through my own experience. It's beautiful when you're doing a simple puja, you offer something, you offer incense, you see the incense there, you see the flower, you put the flower in front of the picture or the image, and you can, I can tell you, I'll say from my own experience, I experienced that. Suddenly something happens where there's an opening, there's a link now with that form of God, and the grace flows more freely. By offering, by giving, you open up a channel where you receive also. So that's why in all these things we make offerings. In the havan, the fire offering, we offer ghee and seeds. We say swaha. We make an offering. In puja, we offer flowers, water, incense, lights, because we're giving something. And through that offering, God opens up a channel to then give more of his grace. So just first of all, think who you want to offer your things to. If it's Ma or whatever. What happened with me was really interesting. I've done puja to Ma many times. I've done puja to Ma when she was in her body even. A couple of times I was able to do arati. But find who you think your Ishta is, who the form of God that you most want to relate to, and then have some kind of image of them. It can be a 3D image or a photo or painting. It could be anything that you find makes you feel the presence of that divinity in front of you. And then if you go to in India, there are these pundits who do these long, long, elaborate pujas, literally going for hours. There's so many months just making all these offerings. And it's powerful. But Ma gave instructions to people for puja. She gave instructions to people in the ashram I was living in. And she said, you don't need to make, okay, in formal puja, there are different offerings. There's an offer for the pushpanjali, the offering of the flowers, offering for the water. There's different mantras to do all these things. It could be very complex. She said, make it simple, and you can use one mantra to the whole thing. If you're doing offering to Ma, and you just be saying Om Ma, Om Ma, Om Ma, and as you offer Om Ma, have a little bell, it's good. Om Ma, and place it with water, with lights. It's very interesting. The puja I do now came about in a very spontaneous way. Um, I'm a Shakta. That means I worship Divine Mother. I was given a Shakti mantra by Ma, and I worked within Ma's lineage. I've received different initiations. It's always for Divine Mother. But Shakti is inseparable from Shiva. Shiva is male, female aspects of the one divinity. Shiva is the underlying consciousness on which Shakti, which is moving Divine Mother energy, rests. So you always invoke one or the other. When you worship Shiva, you also do a puja of Shakti. When you worship Shakti, you worship Shiva. So I was just doing this Shakti worship, and in my Ma said, whatever you need, if you're doing what you know, if more is needed, it will come to you. I've seen that so many times in my life. I needed some Shiva energy. I didn't know it, but I did. So I was at Tiruvannamalai in South India, where the great Rishi Ramana Maharshi lived, and this mountain is called Arunachala. It is considered by the scriptures, by saints, by Ramana Maharshi, it's a manifestation of Shiva. It's very powerful. I'm trying to make this story short, believe it or not. I met this wonderful saint there who blessed me, and we had a great relationship. I came every day and sat in his little temple, and he talked to me, and we meditated with him. And at one point, I was going to leave the next day, and he made this special emblem for me, and he did puja with it, put it around my neck, and he said, look at me. I looked at him. He said, say Om Namah Shivaya. So I said Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And he said it, and then he imparted this thing, this Shakti pot through me through his eyes. And I realized he just initiated me into Om Namah Shivaya. What do I do with that? He said, use this in the morning some. So I thought, I don't need another mantra. But the way it worked out real spontaneously, though, then a few years later, I moved back from India. And there was a lady I knew who I'd met in my travels who was she a Mahadevati? She's a Mahadevati, yeah. And she said she had this, I had a little Shiva lingam that I picked out of the Narmada myself, which I kept to my altar and just, as a momentum. And she said a Brahmin Pandit had given her this large Narmadeshwar Shiva lingam, which is a very profound presence of Shiva. And she said, the Pandit, I know he meant it for you, so you have to take it. I didn't want the responsibility, so I kept it in a shoebox in my closet for a while. Then I realized this is inauspicious. I have to do something. So I made a little shrine outside, poured water over it. And then through different things that happened over the next few months, this puja just came to me. And I realized this is why that saint initiated me into Om Namah Shivaya, because I'm supposed to balance the energy of Shiva and Shakti. So now I do a Shiva puja every morning with this lingam. And it's worked out in a very spontaneous way of how I do it. It's physical in the fact that I pour the water over it, I make certain things, but it's very much I do it. When Ma did puja, she said she would take the implements out of her own self in astral form and do them and put them back in. So I make it very symbolic, and I people would see me, I think I'm crazy in front of this rock moving my hands, but I do a lot of it symbolically. Like I'll think of the light. This is my own consciousness I'm offering. I'm offering my own consciousness to you. And then I have, of course, Ma behind it. So I do a puja. And then I mentally give Ma a garland. I see it on Ma's clothes, and I give her a garland. This is really not a very vague answer, isn't it? In puja, you offer dupam, deepam. You offer
Lights.
light, incense, water, flowers, and food.
But close.
Close, but I don't do that. That's the actual thing. Yeah, you can put that later. So you just very simply, have a little light with a wick that you put oil in, and just say whoever you're worshiping. Like I say, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. If you're worshiping Ma, you say Om Ma. You with great devotion, offer the light, thinking this is my own consciousness, and then put it next to them. Offer a flower, and just offer it and put it there. Offer the water. It's just very simply just saying the mantra of the deity you're invoking, and with love and devotion, and they accept it. Krishna said in the Gita so beautifully. He said, anything anyone offers me with love, I accept, whether it's a flower, a leaf, the whole verse, a fruit, a flower, a leaf, even water, I accept with love. I think I told the story how a man had a big garden, very rich man, had a big garden. He had a gardener who loved him. And the gardener one day came up to him, and he'd taken the flowers from the master's garden and made this beautiful corsage, and he gave it to him with great love. And the master was moved. He said, "Thank you, that's so wonderful." He took it and he put it on his table in his room, and it was his flowers. He owned the flowers, but because the gardener, out of love, gave them to him, so everything belongs to God. God doesn't need us to give us flowers, but He, with love, accepts things. So basically, this is a really long answer. Does this help you at all?
This is super important.
Do you have anything on that?
Oh, yes, it's a wonderful answer. Thank you so much for it. And I'm actually kind of right there with you, trying to balance the Shiva and Shakti.
Yeah.
Those are kind of my two main deities that I think about. So I'm kind of right there with you. Thank you.
Good, because it's true. There'll be an emphasis for one. If you're Shiva, you're worshiping Shiva, but you always have a little Shakti in there. If you're Shakti, you're worshiping Devi, but you have Shiva in there. So it's really good. But does that help? Again, my stress, make it very simple. Use one mantra and just offer these things, and you'll find you'll be led. Like my puja evolved very organically. So just do it from your heart, and you'll see how God wants to do. Did you have something?
Yeah, just a quick clarification. I thought, so glad we're talking about this. In the very beginning, you take Ma, who lives in your heart, and you impose it onto the picture of Ma.
That's right. That's a good
Then
step.
do puja, and then put her back in your heart.
Yeah, that's good. It's called pranapatishtha. when before an image is worshipped in India, they have a priest. Been to three different openings of temples in my life where I was there for the whole 2 or 3 day ceremony where they invoke the deity. The Brahmin priests come in with many mantras. It's always mantras with the sound formula. They'll invoke the image. They'll open the eyes. May you see through these eyes. May you hear through these ears. May you speak through this mouth. They actually awaken the deity, and they invite, like if it's Vishnu, there'll be the statue of Vishnu, which is just a piece of stone. But through these mantras, they open it. They invite the deity in, and he lives there and blesses people and receives the offerings. So the way that's done, that's called prana pratishtha, imparting the prana life force into the image. And when you're doing a private puja, like say you have this has been done to Ma. If you have a picture of Ma, you take, your fourth finger, the way to put tilak on, and you touch the heart of the deity, like you're like a Ma. You touch the heart of the deity and just say her name, Om Ma, Om Ma, Om Ma, or if it's Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, and you impart the deity into that. And at the end, you can take it back or you can leave it there. A Shiva lingam is always empowered. At one time, it's a beautiful story about how, if you're watching Ma, little things would happen. She was interacting with so many people simultaneously. You could blink and miss a beautiful interaction. At the end of one satsang with Ma, we'd always come up at the end, get in line. We'd all come up, and Ma would, you just come pronounce to Ma, and she would bless you, and you could say something. And so one time I was in a line, and I come up after satsang, and Ma was sitting there, and everyone was coming up just briefly. And a little lady in front of me, a little village lady, an Indian lady, had a beautiful picture of Ma about this big, but she obviously was really meant a lot to her, and she was no doubt going to do puja of it. And so she was sitting it to have Ma bless it. And so there were still about 2 or 3 people in front of Ma like this, and I was standing behind this lady. And it happened so quickly. Ma suddenly just leaned around like this, took this finger, leaned around, and put it on the heart of her own picture, said the mantra, and came back. And so suddenly this lady had a living image of Ma in her hand. And she was just like, oh, and she started to cry. It was so wonderful. And I'm sure to this day, this was like, what, 50 years ago. I'm sure to this day, her family is still worshiping an image of Ma, and Ma is living in that image. So the prana pratishtha is important. That's a good point. Thank you. You got that? Lonnie?
David Herring has his hand up.
Yes, David.
Hello there.
Hi.
This morning I came across, in the morning I always look at my Facebook because I'm connected to all these mall groups in Facebook, and I just kind of see what she might have to say in the morning. So today, this one I found this one to be helpful. Okay, it says never never remain without his presence, without his name, while moving about, while eating and sleeping, at all times sustain the flow of his name. A plant will grow more or less rapidly, exactly according to the measure in which you provide it with water and manure. If you do not progress quickly, you should understand that it is entirely your own fault. And then she says, this is the little thing here that really kind of maybe was meaningful to me. She said, call to mind that you have not been able to go beyond the way of thinking, beyond the way of thinking fostered life after life, and dedicate wholly at his feet. The wrong lies on your side. So I kind of got the idea that she said you shouldn't try to force anything to happen with your thinking or will. You should just rest at his feet, in touch with God in your heart, and not try to make something happen with your thinking. Like, if I think this, understand this way, if I do this thinking, this formula of understanding, then I'll have something nice happen to me. I don't know. That's just kind of what what is she saying? She's saying, uh, she says, uh, she says, call to mind that you have not been able to go beyond the way of thinking fostered life. What does she mean by that? You have not been able to go beyond the way of thinking fostered life. So anyway, sometimes I feel like trying to understand things so much and to figure them out and with my intellect kind of blocks the way on my trying to make things happen with my intellect and understanding blocks the way is what she's maybe saying here. Anyway, she says, yet call to mind that you have not been able to go beyond the way of thinking fostered life after life and dedicate wholly at his feet. The wrong lies on your side. So she's kind of saying, the way you're using your mind is the thing, the wrong you're doing, the way you're using your mind. I don't know. So that
Yeah,
was
thank you for sharing that, David. I think let's talk about it. Yeah, from life to life, we've been thinking these things, and it hasn't helped us. Well, I see two things. I see two things in this. One is in our spiritual life, we have to engage every part of ourselves. We don't leave any part out. Especially this is Tantra. This is the worship of Divine Mother. Is everything is sublimated. So the physical body has to be part of it. We have to, purify our diet. We have to have good health. We have to have good breathing. All these things are taken into account also. The intellect has a place to play, has a part to play and a place to be in that formula, in that we do have to understand certain things just to clarify, like we said earlier, believing in something isn't enough. You have to experience it. But having a correct understanding of how to walk helps clarify the path in front of us. The Buddha talked about it. He said right understanding as one of the necessary items of spiritual life. So we do have to use the intellect to understand at least the basic ideas of things. But it is true, we can overuse it. And that's, I think, what Maya's talking about. Just thinking that if we intellectualize things, if we study more books, she once said, ask yourself the question, who am I? And if it's really sincere, you'll realize that all the learning you've stuffed in your head cannot help answer this question. So I think overusing the intellect is can be a problem there. Maybe that's what she's talking about. And ultimately it is what she says, taking refuge at the feet of God. Ultimately, the real goal of spiritual life is complete surrender. We surrender our separateness. We surrender our pride and our ego and all at the feet of God. So ultimately, that is the goal. But along the path, we have to use every part of ourselves and dedicate every part of ourselves. And just for what you just made me think, what you were saying, Margaret said there. Here's another thing she said: for those who are pilgrims on the path, it is imperative to forge ahead vigorously, energetically, and steadily with great speed. A lot of emphasis there. Sitting in a rickety cart will not do. Dynamic strength of mind is always needed. You yourself have to mold your own life. Keep this in mind. See, it's interesting. Today's readings have all been, see Ma's here, and this is what she's kind of been telling us today. Hey, it's up to you. Have you noticed that? Almost every reading that we spontaneously put together is Ma saying, it's your fault. You're not going any better. It's you got to do this yourself. You got to break that offer into yourself. So I think that's what she's trying to tell us today is there's something you got to do and you got to do it yourself. Well, thank you, David, for the observation. There are some really good Facebook sites with Ma's teachings on them. It's nice.
Did Ramani want to say something?
Ramani,
Ramani, do you have something?
Oh, I had just put my hand up when Lonnie was speaking, because I think it's so beautiful and real for human beings to go, am I doing it correctly? And I feel like that's a theme also tonight, like, am I doing this correctly? And now we're like, oh God, it's all our fault. What if we haven't been doing it correctly? Like, and so I think our intellect, our mind gets in the way of us going, oh my God, it's my fault and I'm not doing it right. Um, and I mean, I'm very, I've been on this path for a short time. But I think a lot when I get in this space of, am I doing my puja right? Am I being of service of Ma right? Am I doing the things that I need to do that she wants me to do right? And I think about my teacher, Swami Guru Shardananda. I'm sure you guys have all heard of him. But he said this story, and I will make it super brief. But basically, he tells a story about a pundit, a priest, who's in a small rural town worshiping a Shiva lingam. And all of a sudden, he starts to see every morning when he goes to offer his pujas the correct way that the Shiva lingam is desecrated. There's like raw meat everywhere, and it's like not going well. And so he thinks, I'm going to hide and watch to see who's coming to desecrate this Shiva. And lo and behold, he sees this man who is a hunter gatherer kind of person. If you ever hear Swamiji tell this story, he's going to tell it 10 times better. And this pundit watches this man bring completely raw meat and place it all over the Shiva lingam. He watches him run to a spring and take water in his mouth and run back to the Shiva lingam and spit it all over the Shiva lingam. And he's like, what in the heck is going on? And then all of a sudden, the Shiva lingam comes to life for this gentleman who's like spitting all over him. And in this transaction, this man ends up giving Shiva one of his eyeballs, and then goes to give Shiva another one of his eyeballs. And Shiva rises out of the Shiva lingam and is like, no, 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 thank you so much. Like, yay. And what this pundit learns is that you can go as many times as you want, do all the pujas completely the correct way, offer everything you know that you've learned. But this man who only knew how to serve his own personal family with meat served Shiva with that. This man who saw that Shiva was thirsty and had no way to give him water, gave him water from his own mouth. This man who didn't understand a single thing about Lord Shiva, right, who didn't understand a single thing, is taking his eyeballs out and giving it to him. And so whenever I'm in a place where I'm like, oh, I haven't done it right again, I try to remember that story. And I think even if I was spitting all over Ma, that she would be like, wow, like my child is here and she loves me and she's giving all that she knows. And when we give and when we do that last thing, I think in the end, when we surrender, when we fully surrender, then there is no right and wrong anymore. There is only Ma in whatever form you feel to see her in, Jesus, Buddha, Allah, or otherwise. And if we happen to be, spitting all over her that day, we've tried our best and she accepts that. And if anything, it's almost even greater because we're giving her all that we have and all that we know in complete vulnerability and complete surrender, knowing we might be getting it wrong, but it's our love for her that makes us transcend that. And so if that helps in any way, if that story helps in any way, Lonnie, I think it's just important to remember as long as we start, Ma is going to be super happy. So I just wanted to offer that story. Again, Swamiji would tell it way better, but it's a good one, I think.
No, Romney, that's
So beautiful. Wow.
Really, thank you for that offering. That's really true. Ultimately, it really is true. And the whole guilt thing, like Gloria always says, I'm Catholic. I'm always guilty. The whole guilt thing that so many religions have driven into people is not useful. Um, yeah, yeah. Ultimately, it is true. It's Ma said many times, "Itna bhav utna labh." Itna bhav utna labh. That means with the amount of we talked about bhava, with the amount of soul feeling you do something with, that's how much benefit you get. So it is true. It's like you're saying, it's the bhav that we do. We come with this love for mind and offering ourselves is true. But I also believe that because I'm kind of a stickler for certain things, if we love, we want to do it right. So we shouldn't do it with guilt. So like I know when you say a mantra, when you study and pronounce it correctly, the benefits it tunes it in better, it works better. But again, if you say it incorrectly with real love, you're going to get more benefit than if you say it correctly with just pride. So that's true. So there's a balance between the two. But your wonderful way of expressing the whole thing was greatly appreciated, and it's really true. Ultimately, that's it. It's the bhav. Same time, we can try to do it right. But again, yeah, Lonnie, don't get into like, am I doing it right? Am I going to be, all this rule bound stuff. Do it the best way you can, and God accepts that. Like Shiva is called, one of his names is Ashutosha. That means easily pleased. So he's pleased with the offering of meat, if that's what all you have to offer. Not that I'm recommending that.
Tell him what
Bholanat, yeah, means the simple one, one who sees everyone as himself. Yeah. This is really, we're having some great discussions here and great offerings of people. It's really beautiful. Um, oh, I think our time is up there, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah, basically. Well, let's see. We have a few more minutes. Anybody, we don't want to leave anybody out. Does anyone have anything more else to say or ask or share? We'd love to hear from you. Going once, going twice. Sure.
I'll share.
Please.
I can't find my hand. It's been a while since I've been on a Zoom, so I'm trying. Thank you all for being here. Matthew from the Northwest. I've been a long time Kriya Yogananda Babaji person for 40 plus years. And my joke is that Yogananda found me before I found Ma, which was, if you've read the book, I'm pledging myself to Yogananda on page 247 when he's talking Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And I'm going, this is what my life is about. No ceremony. I'm 18 years old, 20 years old, and going, this is what my life is about.
Wow.
And then acknowledge to Yogananda about, well, I can't tell if you're my guru, but guide me, to whatever. And then Ma's story comes 40 pages later, whatever it is. So thank you all very much. I really do have a deep connection to Ma. And all of the stories, the puja, the things, it's in glory. You remember about the heart, because I was in an Ananda community at one point, and we'd share opening prayers. And I'd always forget the prayers. It's like, I don't remember which one comes first or this. But like, here's my heart all over the altar, So really special to be here. I look forward to joining you guys regularly, and thank you very much.
Wonderful. I'm glad we finally meet, Matthew, after exchanging a few emails. Yeah, it is true. So many people very few people had a Diksha from Ma. Most people had other gurus. Of course, what did Ma always say? Do what your guru told you. Yeah. So we have in our satsang some are here today who are Yogananda devotees. Perfect, wonderful. But I'll tell you two stories real quick. My friend Hari Priya, an American devotee of Ma, came to Ma in 1960. Can you imagine 1960? From 1960 to 1982, she'd work a little bit and then come back and some 6 months, a year with Ma. She had so many times with Ma. I eventually put her ashes in the Ganga when she passed away. But she had a wonderful story. And she came because the same thing. She was an SRF lady. I've had a lot of connection with Ananda too. In fact, we got married at Ananda. She came because she was a Yogananda devotee, and Ma was one of the so-called approved saints that Yogananda had met. So she came, and Ma just received her so graciously, and she would sit in her room. Ma let her sit in her room all day and just watch people come and go, and she would keep Ma's sandals under her shirt, like this. And she would put when Ma got up to leave the room, she put them down so Ma could put her feet in them. And so on her first trip, Haripriya was sitting there for hours in her room, and there was one day in particular where Ma let her sit there, but Ma didn't pay any attention to her all day. People were coming and going. She was having interviews. Haripriya was just sitting there watching. Ma didn't even look at her all day. And at one point, Ma was sitting there talking to someone, and Haripriya was sitting there looking at her, and she thought, I came here because Yogananda is my guru, but Yogananda is not in the body. I'm sitting in front of Ma, and she said, Ma's my guru. It's just she was just thought this, and actually, instead, as soon as she thought that, Ma looked at her and smiled like, "You got it, kid." So, literally, Yogananda brought her to Ma. But again, that doesn't mean everybody has to convert so-called and leave Yogananda and be Ma. No, none of that's required. But Ma brings those who she will, and there's no there's no conflict if you have another guru also. Nice. What a great sharing.
There are two stories to you.
What was the other story? Hari Priya. I don't know. I've had a lot of senior moments today.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we have some announcements, don't we? Okay. First of all, I'm going to give it over to Ramani. Our ashram in India, run by our dear friend Swami Guru Sharanananda, is called Ma Sharanam Ashram. I had a lot with it to do with the formation of it. And this is our mother ashram right now, and we're kind of all orbiting around that. And so it's a beautiful place to be in India, and Ramani is leading a group of people in about a couple of months in January to go there for an in-person retreat with Swami Guru Sharan about Swakriya Yoga, which is one of our methods in our ashram. And I will also be there a little bit later on my own. And Swamiji asked me to also talk to the people some. And it's a beautiful opportunity. If you want to go to India, if you haven't never been before, it's a great opportunity because you'll be with a very sheltered group and have a place to go and be taken care of and all that. So Ramani, you want to say a couple words?
Sure, yeah. First of all, we would love to have anybody who feels the call to join a trip to India. We would love that. So yeah, so we're gonna go all together right now. There's 11 people. We will start January 18th and conclude January 30th. Um, and for those of you who've never heard or don't know about Swakriya Yoga, it's a really beautiful, beautiful practice that is strongly tied to mantra, mudra, pranayama, breath work, and the elements. And one of the things that Ma said was that if you are looking to seek the oneness, you can use the tan mantras, which are the senses of the body, the eyes, the ears, the nose, etc., to deepen further into elements that exist in your body and outwardly. I think Mangalananda, you said earlier that God is in and out, right? So we really learn through Swakriya, through the practices of deepening our understanding of the elements of our body, of Ma, how God is external and internal, but it's the same. And so it's a really beautiful practice that helps you kind of melt into the oneness using specific doors, all of them or one of them or a couple of them. And so we're going to learn all about the elements and have a chance to celebrate two really fun holidays, Narmada Jayanti and Saraswati Jayanti, their birthdays. So that'll be really fun. And we just get to be immersed in the culture of the ashram, as well as a really, really, really beautiful event is going on January into the beginning of February, which is called the Makumbh, and it's a space where there's going to be 24-hour chanting happening in the temples there. And so we get a chance to be with Ma in Mother India on the banks of the Narmada River, with an amazing Swami, and learning really, how to become one with God. So we're going to do that in 13 days, become one with God. Woo, yay us. I mean, if it happens, great. I love that because Ma can do anything. But yeah, it's going to be really beautiful. And I think it's great. I'll just end on this. I think it's really amazing because we are going to be very cocooned. So we've had lots of calls together where we've understood the logistics of getting to India, where we've understood what it's going to feel like to be in India. But it's going to be such a cocooned space, a very safe space for people to just explore God as well as India. So January 18th through the 30th. I can put my email in the chat if anybody wants to reach out to me. We definitely have space left. And if your goal is to just deepen in Ma and deepen in God and also do it in a really fun place in a very protected way, this is definitely the trip for you, for sure. For sure, for sure.
Good, good. Thank you, Ramani. Put your email in the chat if anyone wants to contact her. And Masharanam is an amazing, beautiful ashram. And it's a lot of children's energy because we have a hostel there with 50 boys. And this Ma Kumbh, which we're talking about, we've been doing it since COVID began. In the year COVID began, it's just for the good of the whole world. It's one entire month where in our Ma temple, this 24/7 hour kirtan of Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram kirtan going on. We have a Sikh Gurdwara 24/7 for 1 month. They're reading from the Guru Granth Sahib. And for 1 month in our Kali Mandir with the Shakti Peet, where we do the Havan fire ritual, from morning to evening, they're doing the fire ritual, the Havan, offering Purna Brahma Narayana Anandamayi Swaha. They're doing this for 1 month, and it's amazing. The last day is always incredible because on the last we'll do. Each day we're in one of them. Like the day we end the kirtan, we bring it all out into the whole ashram and walk around, go through the kitchen and everybody's room and chanting and dancing and singing the kirtan. And then we offer the fruits of that for the good of the world. The next day we're ending the Sikh things. We'll be singing all these shabdas together, offer that. And then the last day of the Havan is amazing because we do what's called the Anahurta, where we pour all the last ghee in and release it all just for the good of the world. So it's all just for what we call Wishful Kalyan, for helping the world through these difficult times. Beautiful thing to be a part of. So that's also going on during Ramani's trip there. And I'll be there too. I've been enjoying all that too. So anyway, it's going to be a great time. So if you're interested, contact Ramani. And anything else? Saraswati, do you have anything?
Just thank you all so much. What a joy. Thank you.
Okay, very good. It's been wonderful seeing everyone, and I'm so appreciative of all the wonderful sharings, the questions, and the sharings and thoughts people gave. And we're here every third Sunday of the month. Look also at our website, anandamayimaashram.com, anandamayimaashram.com, and you'll see our ashram in Massachusetts, which is run by Pragya, who couldn't be here today. She's usually here. And she also offers a lot of different satsangs and things going on online and in person. So we're all working together we're all working together from our Masharanam ashram and different coasts and things doing the same thing. Okay, so may Ma bless everyone and keep us all in her remembrance, her memory and remembrance. And may we do our practice well and progress. We'll be even further along next month when we meet. We'll all be further along. You want to say goodbye, unmute and say goodbye. We always love seeing everybody.
Shiva.
Jai Ma.
Jema.
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 Everybody.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Really good to see everybody.
Dear my Myron.
Jai.
Yeah.
Jai Ma. Have a good month.
Gloria, I will miss you in India. I was hoping you would be there, but
I know this is the first year it's not going to come up. She's come every other year I went back, but her health just doesn't permit it anymore. It's
I mean, Mangalananda, you're great. We love you. We're happy to see you too. But
Gloria's a fun part of this duo.
Not true. Thank you.
Jema.
Jema.
Jai Ma, everyone.
Jai Ma.
We're all one in Ma.